Trey Diedelbaum worked out of a jam, and so the Bees will come to the plate after having kept Vermont off the board in the top of the first, despite the Lake Monsters getting 2 on with 1 out. And here's the lineup for Matt Gedman tonight. Dante Lewis is the DH leading off in Game 1. Justin Hackett bats second at shortstop. Red hot Gabriel Tirado catching and batting third. Kyle Carlson, who's come through with some of the most clutch swings of the summer so far, cleaning up at third base. Jack Arcamone is in left field hitting fifth. Freddie Forgione bats sixth at first base. CJ Brito Trinidad is the center fielder hitting seventh. Ryan Perez is in right hitting eighth, and Shane Pellegrino bats ninth at second against the left-hander Brandon Morio. Morio making his first start of the summer from Austin, Texas. He plays for Trinity in Texas. This is his 7th appearance, 9 2/3 innings, 10 strikeouts, just 2 walks, and he's greeted by a first pitch swing by Dante Lewis to the third baseman Eric Gian, who fields the tough in-between hop and tosses Lewis out. 1 pitch, 1 out for Morio. As we take a look at the defense behind Morio, it was Gian who just made that play, so we'll start in the infield. Tommy Guggens at shortstop, Jackson Soroy at second, Joe Marini at first. Left to right, it's Colby Brulette, Joey Gale, and Wyatt Patchett. Jake Gaudreau is behind the plate. And here is the New Britain shortstop, Justin Hackett. 0-1 as he sees a strike on the outside corner. Hackett just playing in his 5th game with New Britain, and that's up and away. 3 hits and 16 at bats for Hackett. Ball and a strike on the junior from Bryant. And he bounces this one towards the middle. On the backhand, Soroy makes a nice play and throws on at first for the out. Quickly 2 down on 2 ground balls for the Bees. And that brings up Gabriel Tirado. Getting ready for his freshman year out of Newington, Connecticut. Big swing and a miss by Tirado. Down in the count 0-1. Now leading the Bees with his .347 average. 16 hits and 49 at-bats. And he's slugging it. 6 doubles and now 3 home runs for Tirado. And the big game against the Road Warriors on June 25th. 3 for 4 with 3 runs scored. He's down in the count 1-2. Homered 3 games ago against the Silver Knights and a 5-1 win. The 1-2, little bit up. Nice little wrinkle thrown by Morio, tried to drop it in there. Tirado has shown great patience, 13 walks against 11 strikeouts in 15 games. But here he waves and misses at a curve for strike 3, and Morio sets him down in order in the bottom of the first. Top of the second coming, no score between Vermont and New Britain. As we look for the game's first run here in Game 1 of a doubleheader between Vermont and New Britain, it's Kyle Carlson to lead it off, then Jack Arcamone and Freddie Forgione. Some thunder coming up against the left-hander Morio, led by Carlson, who's on an RBI tear of late. 10 ribbies over his last 4 games. He had the grand slam and 6 RBI game against the Road Warriors. A 13-9 victory last week. Followed it up with a couple ribbies against the Road Warriors in the second game of the doubleheader. And went 1 for 4 last game against Brockton with 2 runs batted in. Looks like there's a new left fielder. Owen McKernan has gone into the game. He's the new left fielder, so he replaces Colby Brulette. Owen McKernan, now the left fielder for Vermont. There's a little tapper on the first pitch to Carlson. Back to the mound. Fielded by Morio. And he'll jog it over for the underhand flip to Marini for the out. So first ball swinging, Carlson bounces to the pitcher. And that brings up Jack Arcamone. Arcamone at .295 on the season. 16 games. He has 18 hits and 61 at bats. Still looking for his first home run, but 11 runs batted in for Arcamone. Strike one. Morio in this lefty-lefty matchup starts him off with a pitch on the inside corner. Arcamone jumps on the next one and sends it out to right. But Wyatt Patchett is there to shade the eyes from the sun and put it away for out number 2. And the Bees have been set down 5 in a row by Morio. Bringing up Freddie Forgione, batting 6th tonight, down to .280 on the year, but still the team leader with 4 home runs and 23 runs batted in. And he takes strike one. 1-1 on Forgione, who's still getting on base at a great clip. 18 walks versus just 11 strikeouts for the big slugger. That's down and in. 1-1 on Freddie. And you see power hitters often strike out a lot, but Forgione has a good command of the strike zone. He's down in the count 1-2 as he goes fishing at a curveball. And Morio is 1 strike away from another 1-2-3 inning, with C.J. Brito Trinidad on deck. The 1-2 to Forgione. He struck him out. He runs it in on him and tied up Freddie. That's 2 punch-outs for Morio, and he's retired the first 6 batters he's faced. To the top of the 3rd in Game 1 of this doubleheader. No score between the Lake Monsters and the Bees. Bottom of the 3rd here in the opener of a doubleheader. No score. Brandon Morio has retired the first 6 Bees he's faced on just 16 pitches. He faces the bottom 3rd, C.J. Brito Trinidad, Ryan Perez, and Shane Pellegrino. Just a half a game separating the Lake Monsters and the Bees in the standings. These 2 teams face each other a lot. 2 tonight, 1 tomorrow, and then a couple more up in Burlington. Ball 1 to Brito Trinidad, who is the center fielder tonight. Of course, a guy who can play all over the field. Ball 2 to Brito Trinidad, and he's up in the count, trying to lead it off here. Get something going for the Bees. Brito Trinidad at .259 on the summer. 3-0, too high. No homers, 4 runs batted in for Brito Trinidad. 6 walks, and he's up in the count 3-0. Morio looking to come all the way back. There's a get-me-over fastball for strike one. But Brito Trinidad still in the driver's seat at 3-1. Strike 2. Morio might have quick pitched him there. Brito Trinidad didn't look ready for the 3-1 pitch. Morio now runs it full. The payoff pitch. Line drive in a center field, but it hangs up. Joey Gale makes the catch. And there's 1 out in the New Britain 3rd. That brings up Ryan Perez, the right fielder. Perez just 1 for 13 since joining the Bees. Morio's pitch. Tight. That just missed. Not quite sure where. Maybe up. Perez gets the call in his favor. 1-0. And a strike is in there. A little bit lower that time. 1 ball and 1 strike on Ryan Perez, with Shane Pellegrino to follow. The 1-1 runs up and in. 2 balls and a strike on Perez. Out of Greenwich, Connecticut, of course, playing on this team with his brother. And a line drive in a right field and a base hit. Ryan Perez jumps on it, smacks it between the first baseman and second baseman for the Bees' first hit. And New Britain has a 1-out runner. Their 9-hitter, the second baseman, Shane Pellegrino, at .250 on the year. 13 hits and 52 at-bats. across 16 games for Pellegrino. No homers. 3 runs batted in. He's found his way on base, though. 12 walks and 6 times hit by a pitch. Pellegrino takes a strike. 12 walks against 7 strikeouts for Pellegrino. Down in the count 0-1. Getting ready for his junior year at Washington University. Out of Sugar Land, Texas. And he takes low and in for ball 1. No score, bottom of the third. Remember, these are 7-inning games because of the doubleheader. The 1-1. Curveball low and in. Pellegrino takes it to get up in the count 2-1. Well, with 1 out in a scoreless game, maybe a hit and run count here for the Bees. That's up and away, 3-1 with Perez staying put at first. Now Pellegrino would love to flip the lineup. And a couple of Bees aboard for Dante Lewis on deck. 3 balls and a strike on Pellegrino. The pitch. And he yanks it on a line, down the left field line, in there for a hit. Boxed around by McKernan as he cuts it off. Perez stops at third, and Pellegrino cruises in a second with a stand-up double. And the Bees are buzzing. 2 in scoring position and 1 out for the top of the order. On the line drive double to left field by Shane Pellegrino. He got his 3-1 fastball, and he was on it. The second double of the summer for Pellegrino. Dante Lewis will look to give the Bees the lead. He went after the first pitch and chopped to the third baseman. Corners in, middle back for Vermont. And the pitch to Lewis is up and away. Lewis at .235 coming into the ball game. After his ground out, now 8 hits and 35 at-bats. That's a low one, and it gets away from Gaudreau, and the Bees take the lead on a wild pitch. Perez is in, and Pellegrino advances to third, and it's 1-0 New Britain. And now let's see how Vermont plays it with 1 out and a 2-0 count on Lewis. And a runner at third. You know, you get to the bottom of the third in a doubleheader, and you're in the deep middle innings. Middle play back, corners stay in. The 2-0. Lewis is late and fouls a fastball away to the right. Ben Eskin over on the first base side nearly made the play. That ball landed at his feet, I believe. 2-1 on Dante Lewis. And that one gets through. Gaudreau to the backstop. Back-to-back wild pitches. And it's 2-0 Bees. Pellegrino scores. So a couple of dirt balls that get through the Vermont catcher allow the Bees to grab the first 2 runs of the game. And Lewis is up in the count 3-1 with 1 out. Morio's pitch inside. Ball 4. Lewis is aboard. 2 in for New Britain, and now a runner on first with 1 out for their 2-hitter, Justin Hackett, who grounded to the second baseman his first time. Lewis, of course, great speed over at first base. The lefty on the mound, the great neutralizer. But Lewis is going, and Hackett goes after the first one and fouls it off. A little hit-and-run action by the Bees. 0-1. Dante Lewis on base, always looking to make things happen. Just 2 stolen bases for Lewis this season in 4 attempts. That one inside. Ball 1 to Hackett. Now 1-1. Lewis a bit shorter of a lead. And Morio will throw over. Lewis is back easily. 2-0 Bees, bottom of the third. 2 runs coming in on wild pitches. The 1-1 to Hackett. And he sends a soft fly ball, shallow right. Patchett is in to make the catch. Out number 2. Lewis retreats to first. That brings up Gabriel Tirado, who struck out swinging his first time. Came in the team leader with a .347 average. Now up to 3 home runs. He, Carlson, and Forgione all with at least 3. Forgione leads the way with 4 for the Bees. The pitch to Tirado. A strike in there. 0-1. Tirado getting ready for his freshman year at UConn out of Newington, right next door here in New Britain. The throw to first. Lewis was leaning towards second, but it was kind of a slow move by Morio. Lewis read it and got back in plenty of time. With 2 outs, always a threat to go. He's got a big lead over at first, and Morio will throw over once more. Once again, Lewis is back. He'd love to get in a scoring position for Tirado. Bees playing with a bit of house money with 2 runs already, and that's lined hard to first and caught by Marini. That'll end the inning. Well, Tirado hit it hard, but the first baseman, Marini, holding on. Lewis reacted well and snags it for the final out of the inning. Not before New Britain plates 2 on a couple of wild ones. And we'll go to the 4th in game 1 of this doubleheader. Tight ball game here in the bottom of the 4th. Remember, these are 7-inning ball games because of the doubleheader. 2-1, the Bees lead the Lake Monsters. Middle third of the order coming up for New Britain. Kyle Carlson, Jack Arcamone, and Freddie Forgione. Against Brandon Morio, is still out there. The Vermont starter got Carlson on a comebacker his first time. Carlson goes after the first one. A late swing and a foul ball. Over by a young man in an Aaron Judge jersey who brought the glove but couldn't quite make the play. 0-1 on Carlson. The pitch. Bounce to third base. Takes a tough hop. And the throw over to first base by Gian brings Marini off the bag, but he refines his footing and gets the out before Carlson arrives. So he grounds out. That second hop might have hit the lip of the grass, and Gian actually made a pretty good play on it. Looked like a routine grounder to start, but that second hop was funky. And then Marini was able to leave the bag, then re-find it for the out. Now Jack Arcamone flew to right field his first time. Takes outside for ball 1. 2-1, the Bees lead game 1 of this doubleheader. Here in the bottom of the 4th. Slight breeze blowing out to center field. And Arcamone takes on the outside corner, a called strike. Arcamone still looking for his first home run from Trumbull. He hits a fly ball foul off to the left. And it is 0-2 on the sophomore from the University of Richmond. The 0-2. Arcamone pops up a curveball to the shortstop. Googans, a couple of steps into the outfield grass to make the play. And quickly 2 down for New Britain in the bottom of the 4th. Brings up Freddie Forgione hitting with nobody on and 2 outs. Forgione struck out swinging his first time. First pitch from Morio. Low to Forgione, so he's ahead of the count. Second time facing the lefty. Working into the 4th inning, looking for something over the plate that he can hammer. And a 1-0 count. And it's a changeup called a strike. Forgione slumps the head. He thought it was outside. 1-1 on Forgione. Morio's pitch. Fouled by Freddie to the backstop. And it's 1-2. 2 outs, nobody on. The Bees leading by 1 here in the bottom of the 4th. Morio looking to get through 4 strong. The 1-2 outside. That's just off the plate. A good take by Forgione. Has great command of the strike zone. And that runs it even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The 2-2. Popped up by Forgione. First base side. Marini giving it a look over by the New Britain dugout. And it's out of play. Rare you see a ball actually drop into the dugout steps like that. That is over the railing and out of play without touching the roof of the dugout. 2-2 still on Forgione. Morio's pitch. Curveball, and that's high. 3-2. Full count on Forgione. Looking to keep this inning going. The payoff pitch. Ball 4. Forgione is aboard. That's the second free pass issued by Morio. So that'll give C.J. Brito Trinidad a chance with 2 down. Brito Trinidad flew out to center field his first time. 2 outs, Forgione on first. Brito Trinidad gets jammed, swings and rolls it to the second baseman. Soroy to Guggens for the force play on Forgione. And that ends the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a runner left on for New Britain. We'll go to the 5th.